Good afternoon, boys and girls. Today is President's Day, Monday, February 15th. And this story that I'm about to read is one of my favorite President Day stories. It's called George Washington's Teeth. And it's about our first president, George Washington, and really not about being president, but more about his teeth. Now, this story is written by Deborah, Chandra, and Madeleine Comora. Pictures are by Brock Cole. Okay, George Washington's teeth. While I'm reading this story, it has a little bit to do about subtraction, so I want you to listen and kind of figure out and keep track of his teeth. And it also has some rhymes in it, so let's listen for the rhymes too. It says, all of his life, George Washington had problems with his teeth and worked hard to save them. This story is based on what really happened to George and his teeth. Now, the Revolutionary War, George hoped would soon be won, but another battle with his teeth had only just begun. George rushed into town. The dentist heard his shout. "Hold still," he said, then gave a yank. A rotten tooth popped out. And here he is at the dentist, and a rotten tooth popped out. All that night, George tossed and he moaned. Oh, another tooth was sore. But at the dawn, he saddled up and he galloped off to war. Here he is in bed. Oh, he was in pain, but he got up on his horse and rode off to war. George reached New York as British ships invaded every port. Preparing for a fierce attack, his soldiers built a fort. Here's the fort. The British ships are coming in. Inside, he rubbed his swollen gums with soothing oil of mirth until a sentinel cried out, "Here come the British, sir!" Charging on the field, George thought, "There's something in my mouth." He spat into his handkerchief. Another tooth came out. "This can't be happening," George gasped. "What if someone should see? If word got out I'm losing teeth, my men would laugh at me." While no one looked, he wrote a note his dentist would receive. "Please come," it said. "I'll need your help when I get home on leave." Here he is writing to his dentist. He says, "I need help with my teeth." Back at home, George lost more teeth till he had only 10. He only had 10 teeth left. "Oh, Martha dear," George cried, "I fear I'll never eat again." She fed him mush and pickled tripe, but when guests came to dine, he sneaked one of his favorite nuts. Then he had only 9. When he ate the nut, another tooth came out. Here's the pictures. Okay, so he has 9 teeth left. Now remember, back then, they didn't have false teeth. They didn't have dental implants. If you lost your tooth, you just lost your tooth, and then you couldn't chew anything. You had to get things that were really soft. Now George crossed the icy Delaware with 9 teeth in his mouth. In that cold and pitchy dark, 2 more teeth came out. He has 9, but 2 more came out. What's he got now? 7. Snow fell on George at Valley Forge. His blue coat hung in tatters. By then he'd only 7 teeth that couldn't even chatter. Yet bravely George led forth his men, coat and pigtail flying. While cannons boomed, he held his jaw and groaned, "Oh, I think I'm dying." His tooth hurt really bad. Now the redcoats fled. George won the war. When he returned alive, Martha checked for 7 teeth, but counted only 5. So if he had 7, how many did he lose? He lost those 2 because now he only has 5. See, here she is checking his teeth. How many teeth have you got, George? He's only got 5 now. Now he bid the evening of her ball, ashamed his friends would see. That night the dentist came again. George lost another 3. He had 5 and he lost 3. How many does he have left? Well, poor George had 2 teeth in his mouth. The day the votes came in, the people had a president, but one afraid to grin. He didn't want to smile because then people would see he didn't have any teeth. So he just did this. He didn't show anybody that he didn't have teeth. A portrait artist came to George. He said, "I know a trick. I'll pad your mouth with cotton balls to puff your sunken lips." Now, a long time ago, they didn't have cameras. So somebody would come and draw their picture. It's called a portrait. And they'd paint them. And they didn't want George's mouth to look like it didn't have any teeth. So they put cotton balls in it to make it look like he had teeth. George stood up to have a look. He fell back on his fanny. "It doesn't look like me," he roared. "It looks like Martha's granny." He yanked the cotton from his mouth, then gasped, "Oh, what have I done? The cotton held a rotten tooth." Now George had only 1. Here's the guy doing the portrait. Here he fell on his fanny. Here he yanked out the cotton, where now he only had 1. Oh no, poor George. George still had that tooth the night. A knock came at the door. "I've brought false teeth," the dentist called. "Teeth that won't get sore." So the dentist did make him a set of false teeth. George put them in, but when he smiled, the springs snapped against his tongue. Out flew those teeth. "Ah!" George shrieked. "They've knocked out my last 1. Oh no. See, the dentist made some false teeth. But false teeth a long time ago they're not like today's false teeth. And look, when he put them in his mouth, they just sprang everywhere. Oh no. They didn't work very good. "Oh no," George moaned. "I'm toothless." He kept his mouth shut tight. He couldn't sleep. He paced the floor and he prayed with all his might. "If only I had teeth," thought George. He pondered what to do. "Aha," he cried. "All my old teeth might help make something new." So he looked for his old teeth that had fallen out, and maybe the dentist could put them together and make something new. Well, here he is. Here he's pondering what to do. Now he's going to go look for his old teeth that had fallen out. Did he save them? Well, he searched Mount Vernon's bedchambers, the pantry, parlors, halls, through shelves, desk drawers, and the musty floor of every horse's stall. He looked everywhere for his teeth that had come out. He wanted the dentist to try to make him some. George found no teeth. Aha, they're gone. A great sob shook his shoulders. Oh. Through tears, he peered in one last chest, leaped up and yelled, "My molars!" Now, your molars are the back teeth. He found the molars. With plaster and those teeth he found, George poured a sample mold that showed the dentist how to make false teeth George hoped would hold. The dentist took strong hippo tusks and carved a set to size, each tooth secured with screws of gold that lit up George's eyes. So George was helping the dentist try to make something to fit in his mouth. And the dentist took some hippo tusks and carved them to see if he could make them look like teeth. Can you guess the story's end? Those new teeth fit just right. And round the ballroom with his friends, George danced all through the night. Now, a long time ago, false teeth looked kind of funny. I don't know if there's a picture. Oh, here's a picture of his teeth that they tried to make. Yeah. And this is the portrait of George, where they put cotton balls in to make his teeth look puffy. But anyway, that's the story of George Washington and his his teeth that fell out. Have a good day. Bye-bye.